Hi, everyone. Delfino Aguilar here, SVP of Wholesale Production at Kind Lending. I'm really excited for our newest edition of Del Talk today. It's actually our 10th episode of this series, and this series is really developed for all of our brokers and all of our friends out there to really talk a little bit about Kind Lending, to talk about the content that we're bringing out to all of you to help you build your business and learn all about the mortgage industry. Now, we've had a lot of different guests on our show, right? We had Glenn kicking it off for us. We had our president, Yvonne Ketchum, was on. We've had a lot of great people on here from Kind. Mindy talked about culture, which is extremely important to us during her episode. We also had Josh Pitts from Shred Media, and Josh was awesome. Gave us a lot of different tips about what's happening in the mortgage industry and how to expand marketing, all right? Because it's not familiar to all of us. Recently, we had Greg Phillipson, who was a big asset to us during his interview. He came out with a lot of great different things for all of us to learn about, and he talked about different aspects of what he does in his business, which is great. Now, I'm really excited for our guest again because we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back to where we started in our 10th episode. So I'm really excited to bring on our founder, Glenn Stearns, on our 10th episode here of Del Talk. Welcome, Glenn. Excited to have you.
Hey, Delfino, how you doing?
I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous. I know you're busy, right? And really appreciate you jumping on. Yeah, really appreciate you jumping on for our 10th episode. A lot has happened, right? We're going to get into like the process of what we've been doing here to build the company here at Kind Lending. But tell us a little bit about how the last couple of months have been building this company up, your new one.
Sure. First, though, I want to congratulate you. I mean, listen, what you've been doing has really been great and helpful to the brokers, to I think even our own employees, where we get to see a little of the behind the scenes. We get to hear how other people are thinking, what they're doing. And so I think what you're doing is wonderful. I applaud you. I'm really happy to be your 10th guest and your first. So I appreciate this. Yeah, I was going to say what we've been doing, I think, over the last couple of months really is, we've taken this business, jumped in with both feet when we probably, could have continued to maybe plug in a little bit more. So we're really just refining the systems. And so, what was been amazing is for our third month of fundings, it took us 15 years to do that last time. So, it's a lot of the great, people that we have at this company. We've all come back together and have supercharged this business so that we've done something, again, that took years and years to accomplish is done in 3 months. I'm really proud of that.
Right. And you said that, right? Like we talked about that, I think, on one of our calls and when we chat, that it was in 3 months something that it took us almost 15 years to do previously, right? And there's a lot of different things that has happened, and a lot of great people are here too, Ben. But we've also added to our team from other parts of the mortgage industry, which is great too. There's been a lot of great additions, to be honest with you, that have joined us here at Kind that we didn't partner before with, right? Both in sales and operations and everything.
To see so many people that want to jump on this movement that we've caused and be able to come and say, I want to be a part of the foundation. I want to be something I can look back on and be proud of my career. Yeah,
definitely. And I think that's always great to see, and you talked a little bit about, we opened up, we came out really strong. We're continuing to grow. There's a lot of different things we're doing to the system, like you mentioned earlier. Has there anything different that maybe caused us to pivot, or anything that you kind of want to talk a little bit about, like as a new company, some of the challenges that starting a new company is all about?
What's been great is when you start out anything, I don't care who you are, when you start out, you've got to work out the bugs. You got to figure it out. And so we've done that. And I've been on calls with you, I've been calls with a lot of the account executives and said, we're new. And we want to tell you, as you come on board, it won't be flawless. And so what's been fantastic is the brokers that have said, I understand. We've worked together for years in the past, and we will be your guinea pig. And so when things have, had become issues, right? Like you think about all the originations we did, then it goes through and then it becomes all the fundings we're doing. And then you get your issues along the way as you keep testing down the line. And, I've made those calls to a lot of the brokers, say, hey, really appreciate your patience. They say, hey, you know what? We understand. We've talked to our borrowers, and it's still most of the time they've been better, service and faster turn times than what they'll get out there anyway. So we, while we are not happy with it not being flawless, I think that the professional group that we've surrounded ourselves with, they get it. They have been very, very, they've worked with us so well, so we're very thankful for that.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to say, because there's been a lot of them that have really, been since the start, right? First, we have some brokers that we started with loan number 1, right, in the system to loan number like over 2,000 now, right? And so even though, and I know there's a lot of brokers waiting out there to get approved with us, we're getting to you guys as soon as we can, as fast as we can. We want to make it as seamless as possible for you to come on. But I think that's important. And a big thank you. I know, Glenn, you said thank you, and a big thank you from us on the sell side operations, because they did really kind of go with us as the process flowed, right? And it's interesting that you say about we are still faster than a lot of our competition, which is great. Our competition is great. Hats off to them. They're doing a great, fabulous job. We're all going for the same direction to help our mortgage brokers, but our cycle times are still under 30 days for refis, 45 days in some cases, but for the most part, a lot faster than everybody else. So definitely appreciate everybody's support on that for sure, right?
I also want to add one more thing that I think, having so many people that get it, right? I mean, we are in a position like no other where, we're accepting new people to come on board every day. So every day it gets better and better and better, and it's getting faster, and we're being able to, to get to any issue that comes up. But I think are we on 48-hour right now underwriting time, I think today, is that right?
We are. Yep. We are.
Okay, so we've been really, adding people. But the one great thing that I feel very, very confident, and I can look people in the eye, and that is when they come on board, they are coming and they're part of this foundation. They're not part of the, the last in, first out crowd, right? Because we need to get to a couple thousand people just to be normal. Forget about building to the 4 and 5 and 8, 10,000. Let's just get to our base of a couple thousand. If we're right now at near under 200 people, right? So, I mean, these people coming on board are lifers if they want to be, right? And it's not people that are going, oh, market got shut down in half, time to go. This is exact opposite. And so I feel really good about that. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, Glenn, you touched on that, and I want to talk about recruiting for sure, because that's really important to us here. It's a different market for sure on the recruiting side, right? And I've seen a lot of different things, but I think something that separates us, if you're an account executive or a mortgage broker, is, price, right, and technology are kind of like the tickets to play now in wholesale. Everybody has to have it, just if you want to get approved with the lender, and we're good at that, and we're getting better every day. But what's more important is the service level, right? The service that we're trying to provide to our customers. So can you talk a little bit about the expectation and how you built your old company and what we're doing here now, and how important service is, like servant leadership, even service to our brokers, all that. Can you touch on that real quick?
Well, I think we and Mindy and I both talk about this, that kindness, happiness, these things are what we call, a currency, right? I mean, they're valuable, right? And so we want to pay people well. We want to pay people what they're worth. And then there comes a point where you get, to a place where you go, okay, the market's changed, and whoa, that's a lot of money there, and so we want to be fair on both sides, and people know where that is, right? And so when we get there, then we want to be able to ride out anything. And again, this first go around over the next couple of years, I feel real confident, because again, we're not even at our base. But once we get to be at a normal place where with everybody else, then you don't want to hire people just to be able to toss them out, when you are done with them, so to speak. And that's why when we first were here, and we're back to the culture and what is so important about our company in the past, was that people didn't leave. People stayed. We had,
Right.
We would have 5 people leave in a year. Okay. I mean, people were having 30 and 40% turnover. You think that's hundreds and thousands of people that leave their organization. I mean,
Right.
how do you have time to retrain people? What does that say about the working environment? I want people to be proud that they're here. And so when you take care of the people, all the other stuff gets taken care of. They want to take care of the customer, right? So to me, talk about servant leadership. You're the customer, okay? Debbie Davis, who's been with us, for 15 years as our receptionist, is my customer, and I walk in, guess what? A broker recognized me and says, you're back, and so those are good things, right? And you think about everybody that's been with us in the past, whether they were a customer, whether they were a former employee, whatever it is, or whether they're new and they came from some other organization. When they come on, we want them to know how special they are because they're adding value to our organization. And then we want to be able, when you walk home or when you're in bed or whatever, and you think, I've made a difference in this company. That's important. A lot more than just taking a paycheck. And so if we start there, everything else works. Everything else works.
Yeah, it does. And Glenn, I've been here since May 11th. So 5 months or so, 6 months. And I feel, it was an easy transition for me personally, because a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, I worked for you for a very long time. It was an easy transition, but even people that are coming over new, just seeing their excitement that they haven't worked with us, even brokers that I never got to work with Glenn at Stearns or whatever. I feel that that's the momentum that we're building. And, what Mindy is really promoting, and the emails we sent out for the new employees starting, and the voice of promoting kindness, because we're all competitors. You said something, I didn't talk to our marketing team behind this, but you said something that stuck with me in 2012. So I came to work with you in 2012 with Melissa Armstrong, right? And you said something to me during one of our sales conferences. You pulled me aside here. Congratulations for making President's Club, all that. And you said, listen, I think it's really great that we compete with our competitors. We beat ourselves out in the field. And then afterwards, we get a drink and we respect each other and we get a beer. But we respect each other and the competitors, right? And that's what we're really trying to promote. That's the kindness that we're promoting. Your voice is extremely important. I've seen other lenders now roll out different people that are promoting wellness and kindness, which is awesome. So I think the movement is there, and I think it's really important. The world needs it. I think that our industry. So thank you, Glenn, because you guys came up with this concept and the idea and the whole movement around it, and it's a real. I'm really talking to people, and it is real and it's alive, right?
So it's funny because when you do something and it works, then, in my mind, I go, half of me goes, I should hide this and keep this a secret so no one else knows. Right? And we had this great thing in the past. Yeah. And then the reality hit me that, you know what, you don't need to hide things. Let people copy you. That is the best form of flattery. Okay. I mean, it's great because we are real and legit. Right. Let those guys do the same thing. That's wonderful. I think we need it in our industry anyway. Okay. So it doesn't matter. And I think that when I look back and think back to those times with you and thinking about, the competition and all that stuff, it is great. We're in the same business. So there's enough to go around. And the reality is, if you worked here and then you're going to leave, there are some people that would say, now you're the enemy. Why are you the enemy? Why can't you be a friend all the way out? Matter of fact, I appreciate everything you did to put your time and effort into this company to make it as great as it is. So we should walk you all the way to the car if you're leaving and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And by the way, sometimes the grass isn't so green out there and we want you to come back if you can. That's a lot better than let's slam the door on you and let's just say, now you're the enemy, right? So I think that when you work as an employee, you should be treated as the same person, whether you work or you don't work there. If you are the competition, you should be treated with respect regardless. Okay. So it doesn't matter. There is no, on and off, and I don't mind, to your point, competing for the loan inside. And then
Totally.
afterward, you go out with that competitor, and, you guys talk about what works for you. Because, by the way, some people like my style, some people like your style, some people like Betty's style, and some people like Mark's style. It's just
Right.
different,
It's
right?
different. Yeah, definitely. And I think, it's funny you say that. I recently had lunch with, with somebody that I'm close to, and we share ideas all the time about what we're doing. And, we compete with each other too. And I think it's fun because there's a mutual respect, and there's a very big connection in the industry where, working together, we all have the same goal, right? We want to help mortgage brokers grow their business. How can I help you guys be better? How can we become better? We share ideas and things like that. And I think that's really important. And Glenn, thank you for that. I said thank you earlier, but I think that's a big change that we kind of need to see all of us together. Yeah, we're going to fight for that loan. I'm extremely competitive. Like, I want to get that clear, right? We all know we're competitive, but I think that that's something that we always got to keep in mind moving forward, especially into a new year, right? Especially after a new year. Glenn, so before we transition to something else, I want to kind of talk to you quickly about recruiting, right? Because that's the number one thing we're doing, right? And you mentioned it earlier about type of people we're looking for. That we need closers. We need a lot of closers here at Kind Lending. We're doing a lot of different things. You talked briefly about people that have worked with you for a long time because you treat them right. People that leave, they come back, things like that. Why? Just briefly, why is there such a big focus on that? You talked about that earlier, but why? I want to end that part of our discussion just quickly on that. Why is that timing so important, especially now?
Well, I would say that, when you think about your career, you will spend more time with that group of people almost than your family, right? I mean, you spend 9 to 5 or whatever time it is, Monday through Friday, with the same group of people. And so this needs to be the time where you're happy. Okay. It's not just a time to be miserable, to go take a check home to your family. And so by focusing on happy employees, then you can get other people that'll come over because they say, I want to be happy. It becomes, I go back to the currency of happiness. It makes it so that you're dealing with more than just money. Okay. Because money will take you so far. It's just, do you really want, now if I've got somebody and we're both going to make the same, salary, do you want to be happy or do you just want to bring home a check? So I want the people that are going to be the ones that are going to say, I will go the extra mile. Because when you're happy, what do you tend to do? You tend to, work towards making other people happy. You might stay extra so you can get him his docs out. You might fund the loan. You might do things that you would normally go, 5 o'clock, I'm going to get out of here. My family is more important. Well, in this case, now you realize that it's part of your life, and you want to be happy and you want to give back and do things that are different. So the emphasis to me on, really taking people and looking at them, because what then we need to push down is down to that broker. What makes your life easier? What can we do to help? Are there more things that you could do that we're doing that you'd rather do? And by the way, this is a theme that'll go on very strong at Kind Lending, which is tell us how we can make your life easier.
Right.
Tell us what we can do. Because if we can keep listening and we can keep evolving, I don't want to do what the other people have done. I think it's great. They've got some competitors that have really gone out and become leaders in changing this industry. That's exactly where we are. And we're doing it by looking inward first, and then we're going to create a wonderful place for this ultimate broker and customer to come into. So I now want to know, what is it that you need in your life that make your life easier? And then let's do it. Let's think of things that are outside the box, because that creates the kind of, I think, stickiness, the loyalty. And that's what you need in order to succeed, I think.
Yeah, no, thank you, Glenn. That's very well said. And thank you for that. I wanted to touch on that because as I'm talking on my side to AEs, right? And I say this a lot because people watch this and then they'll send me a text or a LinkedIn message or an email or call me and be like, hey man, that was a good interview, but is that really how it is? And I'm like, yeah, it's really how it is. You can talk to, I know you've connected with account executives, and that's really how we feel here. And once you're here, you can experience that. So quickly, Glenn, we kept you kind of some time here. It was really good information you've given us so far, and transitioning a little bit into the Undercover Billionaire, right? So you were part of that, right? You were working virtually for a month and a half recently, and talk to us. Can you share anything about that at all? Is there anything, because you were helping businesses and things like that, right?
Sure. So again, that's a lot of what happened. Why we're here today was I went and did that show, which was building something from scratch in 90 days, and building a business, Underdog Barbecue. And then when I got out of that, I was like, I really want to do that again. I loved the fact of building something that you could make really work, and so we came back, perfect timing. We started to work on Kind Lending. We got it going. Well, Discovery called me again and said, hey, we want to do this again. It was their highest rated new show in 3 years. And so they want to go at it again. They took a couple other people and they put them out and made them new Undercover Billionaires, right? Yeah. So one guy's name's Grant Cardone. Yeah. And so Grant's out there doing his thing, and I check in with him on the TV, and I kind of mentor him throughout, which is pretty fun because Grant's a different kind of guy. And then they asked me to go out and, would I help other businesses in Erie? So I picked 6 businesses, and I went out in this time of COVID and said, how do you think outside the box in your business? What do you do? So we sat down. I brought in some experts, kind of hidden awesome. That, kind of an undercover aspect, so they could kick the tires in their business. And then we just gave them big, high goals and taught them how to fish, so to speak, get grants, go out and get new contracts. What do they do? So each business was different. And it ended up being very rewarding, awesome. More so than I ever imagined. And so that should air, I think, in January. Okay. And we'll see, but it'll be another big series again. So nice.
That's awesome. So I got a question for you. So you've had you're involved in a lot of different businesses. You have a lot of different friends and mentors. If I'm a mortgage broker, what would be, if I'm self-employed, I'm a mortgage broker, what would be like a good business tip? Because you're a broker too, right? And you grew your business to where it's at and things like that. So you walked in their shoes. You've done that job, right? Oh, so right. Yeah. So as the world's churning, like what would be, and especially you've been giving, you helped all these other business owners, but in our mortgage broker world, what would be some advice that you would give a mortgage broker right now? Because you've seen it all.
Yeah. I think that, I was an originator for years and years and years. And I own my own company. I was still an originator for years. And I love that aspect because I like dealing direct with the customer. And I liked seeing what we could help them with. It was a very rewarding part of my career. And I think that, one of the best lessons I got from looking back was that when these times were here, like today, big refi days, right? That I still put the purchase market first, because that market doesn't have as much, issues, swings, right? When the rates go up. And so I had relationships with realtors. That was my, big thing. And so when all these refis came, I still saw the realtors every day, and I never stopped. And so I would never forget, a guy, Steve from Century 21, he owned it. I walk in the door and he holds the door and he says, "You're not allowed in anymore."
Yeah.
And he says, "Office is closed." I said, "Office is closed?" He goes, "Yes, you and another lady, Vila Cavacho. I'll never forget her name. She goes, she's from Plaza way back, says, "You guys ruined my own mortgage business." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I started a mortgage company at Century 21, and you kept coming in here and taking all my business." He goes, "Everybody else, when the refis hit, they all left and they went to the refis. You two never left. You stayed in here." He goes, "So my office is closed." And then he looks at me and he goes, "Except for you and Vila, you both can come." And he opened the door.
That's awesome.
And he says, "Congratulations." because you never left the realtor, right?
Yeah.
And so, as they say, right, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to, take advantage of this great opportunity, but you want to keep your core business, and you got to figure out where that is. Is it with, financial advisors? Is it with agents? What is it that keeps your business going? Because when the rates go up, where are you going to get your business? If you're thinking of a career, right? If you're thinking, okay, I'll buy the Bentley today, I'll give it back next year. That's stressful. That doesn't feel very good, So
yeah, no, that's some great. Yeah, I think long term. That's good. That's good, Glenn. I think as I think about the mortgage brokers that have always been busy from my Wells days to from our previous company and then now here, they have always been purchase shops, right? Purchase shops is a long-term goal. And I still, and that's what we're specializing on here, especially with our expedited turn times and things like that. So thank you, Glenn. Some really good advice. Glenn, it's always great. I talk to you all the time, but these are always fun. I was telling Christy, these are the funnest things for me to do when I do this. And there's a whole group of people, Glenn, that helped me make this happen. So you were talking earlier, but I got to thank Christy Mendel, Melanie Wash, Tiffany Sullivan. All of them have been instrumental to doing this with me, right? Christy was saying that, we pushed you kicking and screaming to do this, right? But it's very fun. The content that we've moved everybody on here has been great. Yeah. Jeff was instrumental on it. So thank you. So Glenn, there's a lot of—
You're doing a great job. You are. You're doing a great job. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. So what we're really talking about here is, what we're doing here at Kind Lending, everybody. So there's a lot of different ways you can follow Glenn. So Glenn, your Instagram, Glenn Stearns, your website, glennstearns.com. Right. We have your podcast, Grit Happens. Right.
Grit Happens.
Grit Happens. Facebook.
We're working on a little book. Yeah, that'll come out in the spring.
Okay. And so a lot of different ways on Instagram too, right? And on Instagram there was a contest to name your new dog, right? Or was that going on too, right? Did they ever land on that or no?
Well, my kids started to name the dog Stormy.
Stormy, that's right.
A big fan. I said, it reminds me of the president's friend, Stormy Daniel. So I said, can we think of another name? And they said, well, it's going to be a middle name. So that's like, or how about like Blue? Because it's a gray kind of dog. So I was thinking Stormy Blue. But that way, maybe we could kind of switch the name eventually, right? Get the dog to remember. We don't confuse it. And maybe I could get away with it. But something tells me it's going to be Stormy for life. So awesome. That's funny. Now I got that stuck in my head now. So thanks, Glenn. So anyway, so guys, so thank you, Glenn. You're super busy. I wish we could have done this one in person. So going back to Kind Lending, Glenn Stearns' new company. There's a lot of things going on here at Kind Lending. This is the end of our first kind of run at the Del Talk. So Glenn, thank you for opening it. Thank you for closing it. We're having some mortgage brokers on our next one, so I'm excited about that. So so we're excited about that. So follow us, team, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the content, the first 10 series that we did on this. Follow Kind Lending on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Our marketing team has put a lot of great content on there on LinkedIn. There's a lot more information coming on here, and we're excited. We're probably going to convert part of this to a podcast too, to help people listen, so they don't. If they're going to be on LinkedIn, they can't see it or whatever it is, to help them with that too. But please follow Glenn Stearns' new company, Kind Lending. Our company, Delfino.
Yeah, our company. Yes. So thank you, Glenn. Thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, guys.